The thing that makes Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker so awesome is that there's no possible way it isn't going to be really entertaining. That's just the nature of pitting a couple of the most elite lightweight mixed martial artists on the planet against each other in a main event showdown. It's not just that they're both primarily strikers who like to push the limits and willfully put themselves in harm's way in the effort to get the win. It's the fact that they are two of some of the most technically sound strikers in the most talent-rich division in the sport that really ensures that we're in for a show on Saturday night. Watching two of these technicians play the dangerous game that is striking is going to be something to behold. The margin for error is so slim when fighting either of these guys, it's really hard to imagine someone not getting caught in this thing and in spectacular fashion. With Poirier returning for the first time since his loss to Khabib and looking to make a statement, and Hooker being in the biggest fight in his entire career right when he seems to be hitting his peak, there's just going to be too much tension and too much talent in that octagon for it not to end violently. I'm very, very high on Dan Hooker because the guy has composure, and having a high level of composure in this insanely dangerous sport just might be the very best attribute a fighter can have. Even at the worst of times and in the worst of situations in the octagon, Hooker never looks stressed out and is always cool as a cucumber in how he carries himself in there. Being able to be that relaxed, or at least appear that relaxed in the octagon, has so much value. It's obviously served him well over the years, and it's led him to score knockout wins in the UFC over the likes of Ross Pearson, Jim Miller, Gilbert Burns, and James Vick. No wonder he's finally starting to get his due. One impressive win over Poirier, and Hooker's officially in the title picture. But how stupid would it be to think that any man on this earth can just walk on into the octagon and beat Poirier in a fight? Do you know how rare it is that somebody beats him? In his last 15 professional fights, he's lost 3 times. 2 of those losses were to the current lightweight champion and the former featherweight and lightweight champion. It takes a special human being to be able to beat Poirier. And even if you are a special human being, that does not mean you can beat Poirier. Hooker is without question in for the toughest fight of his career on Saturday. And that's really saying something, because after 6 years in the UFC, Hooker has fought some extremely tough customers. But he hasn't fought anybody like Poirier yet. He's been right on the fringe of fighting at his level, and the next big step up in competition is upon him, and it'll be interesting to see how he performs against a championship caliber fighter like Poirier. I fully expect him to go out there and perform. That's what Hooker does. He performs when the stage is set. He is into the perfect headspace for a high-level cage fight soon as the ref says go. Actually, now that I think about it, that seems to be a quality a lot of the city kickboxing guys have in common. As far as title implications go, it's crowded at the very top of the rankings. It's always this way at lightweight. The next title shot has already been claimed, with Justin Gaethje waiting in the queue for Khabib to return to action and defend a title finally. Things have been quiet from him as of late, but you'd be insane to forget about Tony Ferguson, who's out there, and I'm predicting is going to be returning to form whenever he does come back to competition. And McGregor's out there as well, so it's safe to say Poirier nor Hooker can expect a title shot, even with an impressive win. But whether a title shot is on the line or not is of minor importance, because a matchup with either Ferguson or McGregor for either man is as big of a fight as they could ever hope. So there's a lot on the line Saturday night. Dan Hooker is very motivated and has a very strong desire to win. You couple that intense desire with lethal skills in the octagon and some serious damage is going to be done. I normally like to reserve judgment until the weigh-ins or after that to make the predictions, but as incredible as I think Poirier is, I just think that Hooker's desire is going to give him the edge that someone fighting Poirier needs to overcome him. Although Poirier has had an incredibly long career and has been through a lot of wars, it's not a situation where I feel like he's shot-born. In fact, it's entirely possible that his best performances could still be ahead of him. It just feels like it's Hooker's time. Over the years, he's been taking on top-flight talent, and with each win, has made a progressive step up in competition along the way. He's taken some beatings and some losses on the come-up, but the amalgamation of his body of work since being with the UFC that's brought him to where he is today, it just gives me the impression that he's ready and poised to move on to the next level. Who the hell knows? They're both elite level strikers who are incredibly dangerous. And when you fight the way that these guys do, you have to be prepared for everything that you believed in to be turned upside down on a whim, which is precisely why this fight is going to meet the hype.